Hello, I'm Bonnie Rabikoff, and once again, we are in the cellar with Marquee Selections and their managing director, Chris Cribb. Thank you once again for inviting us into your cellar.
Sure, Bonnie. Great to be in the cellar with you.
Okay, so Marquee Selections, how did it all begin?
Well, we got started back in 2003. We were looking for a project to work with a sister company out of Australia and found a number of small vineyards that couldn't export to the United States by themselves. So we started up a business plan and from scratch put together a portfolio of Australian wineries and began importing them into the United States under our brand name Marquee Australian Wines. And after a number of years of growing that business, we felt like we were ready to start replicating the model and move to areas of Argentina, Italy, Spain, Portugal. We've moved to sustainably focused, organic, small producers. So we went where we were looking at the wine world and thought there are beautiful wineries in every part of the country, in the United States, in the rest of the world. But these that all have the sustainable green focus, we feel like they really take care of their wines and put extra into the production of the wines and are giving back.
And are giving back.
That
so
really helps our commitment to them.
Began in Australia and then using that selection process for these unique vineyards and great winemakers. I know they all are very passionate about the wine that they produce.
Absolutely.
And now taking great care to make sure we're getting more organic and sustainably grown grapes.
Yes, and at value prices. That's the other thing that we really put down as one of our three mandates is great wines, great prices, and green focused.
Tis the season.
It is the
for
season.
us to gather around. Yeah, there we go.
I had to do it once.
I know you did, and you did it well, Chris. Okay, so we're going to go to tailgating parties, or we're going to be entertaining while we're watching our favorite team. What should we drink with this entertainment?
I think that you're wanting to try to find something that's going to please a lot of different flavors, because these are not the same flavors that you get when you're making rich sauces and things. You're doing a lot more charring of the food on the grill. So
grilling's king. Even if it's January, you're going to go out on the grill for occasions like this. So we're talking about grilled foods.
So when you think of the grill puts that coating on the outside of it. You know, I mean, it really kind of encapsulates the flavor is the way I like to think of it. And so what you're trying to do is you want to pair something that's going to go well with what's encapsulated in there. I chose for you a couple wines today that I think are very versatile for a couple different areas. The first is a Chardonnay Sauvignon Blanc blend from Piedmont, Italy.
Okay.
So
we love Italy.
Yes,
we
love
do.
Italy. We love Italy. Sauvignon Blanc is the lighter white grape.
Yes.
It is kind of known for being a little more gooseberry, a little more tart. And this one is paired with Chardonnay, which makes it a little longer in its palate, a little more green apple type of a flavor. Interesting together, I think it just makes a really bright wine that goes with a lot of different things.
So really versatile, especially for a white wine.
Yes. Absolutely. It could be an aperitif at a party, but it also could stand up to a big hefty salad. Could go with like a when I'm thinking things on the grill, a grilled chicken breast. This would be great with something like some shrimp skewers, kebabs, something like that. And the flavor profile that you get into there, it's got that citrus to it. I just have to mention that I think it's a great recipe. Do it a little ahead of time. A white bean chili.
That's perfect.
Something that's a little...
And this would be perfect with that, white bean chili. So you can make it up ahead of time. You don't have to be in the kitchen and just have it ready to go.
Yeah, you can enjoy the time there. You don't have to be trying to cook around a little stove. You just be able to go plug it in and you're ready to go.
Business.
Yep.
Okay, all right. So we've got those items covered for the tailgate. Now what else do we have and why?
Well, so I would say the other two components that would go in my cooler is probably, there might be a 6-pack of beer in there.
That's very possible.
I think that, a nice cold beer goes good at a tailgate. But I also like red wine. And So I chose another versatile red wine.
All right.
This is a blend. This is the Rio Real Reserva. This is a blend of Syrah, Touriga Nacional, and Tinta Roriz. And
not familiar with those other grapes. So what's the flavor profile here?
Sure. Well, we'll take them, break it down a little bit. Syrah, the first part, is Shiraz. It's kind of a little bit more of a spicy, medium to heavy red grape.
Right.
The Touriga Nacional is one of the grapes, and this is a Portuguese wine. It's one of the grapes that is used in making fortified port wines. So it's a little bit of a darker, deep, dark raspberry, blueberry flavor.
Because Portugal, you think of port, so we imagine that might be in there.
So it kind of has that little bit of that essence of port to it. And then Tinta Roriz is also in Spain called Tempranillo, and it is the largest grown grape in Spain. Tempranillo is a softer red. And I would encourage people to try Tempranillo, especially people that want to try red wines that have been
a little intimidated about it.
Tempranillo is a great grape because it is softer, it's a little more approachable, it doesn't have as high of tannins. When you look at the color profile that it brings in, it almost gets a little bit into that light red rust where kind of Pinot Noir gets sometimes. So in this blend, you see the lightness of the Tempranillo at the end, you see the darkness of the Touriga Nacional in the middle, and the Syrah, the peppery stuff at the front. So,
and isn't that interesting? Wouldn't have thought of blending that, but of course Portugal did. And should you have cheeses included in your tailgate,
absolutely,
you're covered.
This would be a great blend for that as well. And I think
what if you did barbecue? Could you do this?
It would go really well with barbecue because of that smoky flavor. But I would go burgers. I think this would be great with a burger with a little barbecue sauce on it. If you're going to do something like ribs, this has got a little bit of that stuff that can handle some of the fattiness of a rib.
So you're going to this tailgate, which means you're going to have to transport these wines.
Yeah.
How do we do that and maintain the integrity of the flavor of the wine?
Sure. Well, I think the easiest thing, if you're bringing food to the tailgate as well, or if you just get the wine, is to put these on ice. Okay. Go ahead and put them on ice beforehand so that they are chilled when you get there.
Including your red. Including your red.
People drink red a little too warm, and especially when you're starting to do and pair up with things like a spicy barbecue sauce. If your red is too hot, that wine will taste spicy and it tastes
alcoholish or something. Yeah.
There's a term they call hot.
Hot. It'd be hot. Right.
Is not a good thing.
Not going to work.
You usually want to be hot, but not this time.
No. We won't do that. So we put the wines on ice, and we'll want to serve the red a little warmer than the white, but still it needs to come from that chilled place.
And I think that in this type of a situation, there's some great plastic glasses plastic acrylic ware that you
Crystal might not work here.
I would probably keep that at home.
Okay, we'll keep it at home.
Can have something nice for another day. But, the other thing that I find, there's a couple, you look at all the little tools that they have that you can buy for a wine connoisseur. Okay. One that is a unique one.
They're wine toys.
Wine toys. There's one called a Venturi that is an aerator. So if you have a wine that is, say, a bigger wine, like a Cabernet that needs to breathe, you were thinking about decanting it, but you're going to something you don't want to...
Can't decant.
This would be a great spot. You put the aerator, you pour the wine through the aerator, makes a little whistling sound. It's got an extra air in it.
It's just reminding our viewers that reds, especially one like this, or maybe a little older red's going to need some air to do what it needs to do.
It just, if not, it'll not taste as fruity, as full, and you want that better impact.
Okay, so we know how to transport it, and you all have won some spectacular awards for the care that you take in creating this portfolio. How have you done that? And I should say from Wine Spectator, which is...
Well, we thank Wine Spectator, and I appreciate you mentioning that we have really looked at trying to find that great value for our money. And in doing so, we've found that some regions of the world are what we find are better than others
Okay.
at producing that, how far your dollar can go.
Yep.
The countries that are having a little bit of a problem over in the EU these days.
Okay. Several of them are, but yes. Okay.
But the fact of the matter is, your U.S. dollar goes further there. It goes further down in Argentina, which we also import from. And
Wonderful.
what we found is that by focusing on getting the best value, knowing who you're importing from or who you're buying as a consumer, you're able to find someone you can trust. And that's really what...
You've done that for us. You've gone there, you've gone to the winemakers, you've been to the vineyards, and so it is wonderful to know that there is a portfolio out there that's been cared for the way you've cared for Marquee. Thank you.
Sure, thank you. If you're looking for something that's a good value for the money, Marquee is a great spot to start.
There we go. So marquee.com or 1-888-MARQUEE will get you all connected.
Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me once again into your cellar.
Sure, it's great to share some tailgate time here with you. And give you a couple tips for the next time that we're going out.
Okay. So
hopefully that we can get a few more of our friends following us on Facebook and Twitter and talking all about In the Cellar and In the Kitchen.
In the Kitchen.
Cheers.
Cheers.